Michael, I have a serious problem.
What happened?
Yesterday, I said a perfect English sentence. Grammar was correct. Vocabulary was correct. Everything was correct.
So what is the problem?
The American woman looked at me like I was crazy.
What did you say to her?
I said, "You must lose weight."
Oh no.
What? It is grammatically correct, right?
Olivia, that sentence could end a friendship.
What?
And today, I am going to make sure that never happens to you again. Olivia, let me ask you something important.
Okay, I am nervous now.
How many times did you study English grammar?
Hundreds of times. Maybe thousands.
And how many times did someone teach you how English feels?
Never. Not once.
That is the real problem. And it is not your fault.
It's not.
No. Schools teach you the skeleton of English.
The skeleton?
Yes, the bones, the structure. But they forget to add the skin, the face, the emotions.
Oh, wow. So I am speaking like a skeleton?
A very smart, very grammatically correct skeleton. Yes.
That is both funny and terrifying.
But here is my promise to you today. After this lesson, your English will not just be correct. It will feel alive.
Alive English. I want that so badly.
And I will teach you using the 3 most dangerous words in the English language.
Dangerous? Now I am really nervous.
Dangerous if you use them wrong, but powerful if you use them right.
Tell me, what are these 3 words?
Must, have to, and need to.
Those sound so similar.
They look the same. They feel completely different. And the difference can change your entire life in English.
Okay, I am ready. Teach me everything.
Okay, let us go back to your situation yesterday.
The one that made the woman look at me like I was crazy?
Exactly. You said you must lose weight.
Yes, and I meant it kindly. She was talking about her health.
I understand. But Olivia, let me paint a picture for you.
Okay, painting the picture.
Imagine a general in the army.
Okay, big uniform, very serious face.
He stands in front of his soldiers and says,
"You must run 50 kilometers.
Exactly. How does that feel?
It feels like no choice. You do it or you die.
Perfect. That is must. Must is a general giving orders.
Oh no, I sounded like a general to that poor woman.
You did. Must carries enormous pressure. It says, I have decided this for you.
But I just wanted to be helpful.
I know. And that is the trap. Must feels helpful in your head, but sounds like a command in English.
So, when should I actually use must?
Great question. Must works perfectly in 2 situations.
Tell me both.
Situation 1, rules and laws.
Like official things?
Exactly. You must wear a seatbelt. You must show your passport.
Ah, because those are real rules, not my personal opinion.
Exactly right. Nobody made those rules. They just exist.
And situation 2?
Strong personal feelings. When you are absolutely certain about something.
Like what?
Imagine you taste the most incredible food of your life.
Okay, I'm tasting it. Oh, this is amazing.
You turn to your friend and say,
You must try
try this. Oh, that feels right. Yes, because it is your excitement talking, not an order, not a judgment. So, must is okay when I'm excited, but dangerous when I'm giving advice? Perfectly said. Write that on your wall. Writing it. Must is excitement, not advice. Now listen very carefully. I will say the same idea two ways. I am listening with both ears. Way one, you must exercise every day. Ouch! Even hearing that, I feel attacked. Way two, you really should exercise every day. Oh, that feels like my friend talking, not my boss. Same information, completely different relationship. The word changes the relationship between people? Now you understand the real power of these words.
Okay, must is dangerous. What about have to?
Have to is fascinating
Why fascinating?
because have to has a secret personality.
A secret personality? Tell me everything.
Close your eyes. New picture.
Closed.
You are sitting with your best friend at lunch.
Nice. I love lunch.
She asks you, "Why did you leave the party early last night?"
Okay.
And you say, "I had to work early this morning."
Yes, that sounds completely normal.
Now feel the difference. You did not choose to work early.
Right. My job required it.
Exactly. Have to is about external pressure. Something outside of you is forcing the situation.
So it removes the personal blame?
Completely. When you say have to, you are saying, "This is not my choice. The situation requires it."
Oh, that is actually very useful. So I can use it to explain my decisions without sounding like I am complaining?
Precisely. Now, let us test this in a real professional situation.
Office mode activated.
Your colleague asks why you missed the team lunch.
Okay.
Which sounds better? "I must finish this report," or "I had to finish this report"?
I must finish sounds like I am punishing myself?
Exactly. Very dramatic. Almost like a villain in a movie.
I must finish this report or the world will end.
Perfect imitation. But "I had to finish this report" sounds like
Like a normal, busy professional with real responsibilities.
spot on. Have to is the language of real life.
Real deadlines, real responsibilities, real adults.
Exactly. And here is the beautiful thing about have to.
What?
It works in all directions. Past, present, future.
Show me.
"I have to leave now." Present.
I had to cancel the meeting. Past.
"I will have to check with my manager." Future.
It is so flexible.
And always natural, always professional, always honest.
I love have to now. It is the most honest of the three.
That is a beautiful way to see it. Now, the third word, and this one is my personal favorite.
You have a favorite word?
Every English teacher does. Mine is need to,
Why is it your favorite?
because it is the most human of all three.
Human? Explain that.
Okay, new picture. Are you ready?
Always ready.
You are in a very important, very long, very boring meeting.
Oh, I feel tired already.
4 hours of presentations, numbers, charts, more numbers.
My eyes are closing in this picture.
Suddenly, you feel it. Your body is sending you an urgent message.
The coffee from this morning.
Exactly. What do you say to your colleague?
I need to use the bathroom?
Yes. And how does that feel?
It feels urgent, real, like my body is talking.
Exactly. Need to comes from inside, from genuine necessity.
So, must is from authority, have to is from outside pressure, and need to is from you,
From your genuine, real, personal necessity.
That is such a clear difference.
And need to is the most emotionally intelligent of the three.
Emotionally intelligent? How?
Because when you say need to someone else, it feels like you understand their humanity.
Give me an example.
Your colleague looks exhausted. You have two choices.
Okay.
Choice 1, you must rest.
General giving orders again.
Choice 2, you need to rest.
Oh, that sounds like you actually care. Like you see the person.
Yes. Need to says, I see your humanity. I understand your limits. This is so emotional. I almost want to cry. That means it is working.
Now, are you ready for the most important part?
The error lab?
How did you know?
I could feel it coming. Hit me.
This time, I will give you real situations. Situations that happen every day to English learners.
Real situations. I am ready.
Situation 1. Your friend has been working for 20 hours with no sleep.
Oh, poor friend.
A learner says, "You must sleep." What is wrong?
It sounds like a command. Like you have no sympathy. Like a doctor reading from a list.
Perfect analysis. Fix it.
You really need to sleep. Or even, you need to rest. Seriously.
Beautiful. Adding seriously makes it even more genuine.
Because it shows you actually mean it, not just saying words.
Exactly. Situation 2. You are in a job interview.
Oh, high pressure. I feel nervous already.
The interviewer asks, "Why do you want this job?"
Okay.
A learner answers, "I must find a better salary."
Oh no. That is a disaster.
Tell me exactly why.
Because it sounds like you only care about money, and it sounds desperate, and it uses must, which sounds like a demand.
Excellent analysis. Fix it like a professional.
I feel that I need to challenge myself more, and this role offers exactly that.
Olivia, that answer would get you hired.
Really?
You replaced must with need to. You added personal feeling. You connected it to the company.
Same message, completely different impact.
Situation 3, and this one is the most dangerous one.
More dangerous than ending a friendship?
This one could end a marriage.
Wide eyes. Tell me immediately.
A husband says to his wife, "You must cook more."
I stand up dramatically. Sir, that man needs help.
Fix it, quickly, save this marriage.
Honey, I was thinking, would you like to try cooking together sometimes? I would love that.
You did not just fix the sentence, you fixed the entire conversation.
Because I changed the energy from demand to invitation.
That is the highest level of English communication. Now, the final test. No preparation, pure natural conversation.
Natural. No thinking. I trust my feelings now.
Setting. You are a manager. I am a new employee who is making some mistakes.
I am the manager? Oh, I like this power.
And action.
Good morning. Do you have a moment?
Of course. Is everything okay?
I wanted to talk about the project deadline.
Yes, I know. I'm a little behind.
I understand. These things happen. But we need to submit everything by Friday.
Right. I will try my best.
I know you will. You might need to prioritize the client report first.
That makes sense. Should I skip the team meeting tomorrow?
You don't have to. But if we need to use that time for the report, I completely understand.
Thank you. I really needed to hear that.
Of course. And if you need any support, just let me know.
Cut! Olivia,
How was it?
you just conducted a perfect management conversation without a single aggressive word.
I used need to 3 times and have to once. And I avoided must completely.
Because you felt when each one was right. I did not think about grammar once. That is fluency, Olivia. That is real English.
Now, I want to share something with you that most English teachers will never tell you.
A secret?
A big one. Ready?
Ready.
Native English speakers think about these words unconsciously. They never studied them. They just felt them growing up.
So they never had to learn the rules?
Never. But you are doing something even more powerful.
What am I doing?
You are learning consciously what they learned unconsciously, which means
I can actually control it better than they can?
exactly. A native speaker might accidentally say something rude. They do not know why it sounds wrong.
But I do.
You do. You understand the architecture of the language.
That is actually incredible. I feel like I have a superpower they don't even know exists.
You do. And that superpower has a name.
What is it called?
Conscious competence. You know what you are doing and why.
Conscious competence. I am writing that down forever.
Let us lock everything in your brain forever.
Lock it in. Go.
Word 1. Must.
Use for laws, rules, and genuine excitement. But be very careful with personal advice. It can sound like a general giving orders.
Word 2. Have to.
Use for external responsibilities, things the situation requires, not your personal choice. Honest and professional.
Word 3. Need to.
Use when something comes from inside, from genuine human necessity, the most caring and emotionally intelligent of the three.
And the golden rule that connects all three?
The words are not about grammar. They are about the relationship between people.
Say that again. Louder.
English words are not about grammar. They are about the relationship between people.
That sentence, right there, is the most important thing I have ever taught.
Michael, I have a question.
Of course.
What about the situation that started all of this? The woman I accidentally insulted?
What would you say to her now?
I would say, I noticed you were talking about your health. If you ever need any support or ideas, I am here.
Was that okay? Olivia, that sentence had 0 must, 0 have to, 0 need to.
I know. Because sometimes the most powerful English is the gentlest English.
I think you just became the teacher.
Don't tell anyone.
Now, before you go, we need to ask you something.
We have to know your answer to this question.
And you must write it in the comments below.
See what we did there?
The question is this. Tell us about a time when you said something correct in English, but it felt wrong.
We all have that story. Share yours below.
We read every single comment.
Every single one.
If you want more lessons that teach you English the way it feels, not just the way it looks,
Subscribe right now and hit the bell.
because next week, we are teaching you the 5 phrases that make you sound instantly more intelligent in any English conversation.
5 phrases. Instantly more intelligent. I need to see that video.
See you there.
See you there.